Welcome to Behavior Scientist Reacts and Explains Takopi's Original Sin. This, of course, is the final episode, guys. And if you're a member, thank you for supporting the channel. Then you get these episodes 1 week ahead of schedule. Now, I am thinking of making not one, but two more videos, though, with Takopi's Original Sin. And one of them is reading the manga, right? There's a comparison. It does feel to me that the manga is probably more gruesome because anime tends to censor stuff. This anime is very brutal, but still, right? Secondly, I kind of just want to rewatch everything, decompose, right, and make like a longer video about the whole series, right? And my process and so on. But that's gonna take some time, guys. Subscribe for that. Come up in the future. And it's gonna be a gruesome behavior thing. This anime is so brutal. So of course, as always, viewer just is advised. Now, before we go into the final episode, as always, I just wanna reflect a little bit on last episode, right? And I think this is last episode basically has like the worst anime death of all time, right? I mean, seriously. I kind of jokingly say this is a new Shizuka. Spoilers, but I feel everyone's into anime knows about Shizuka, right? FMA, Metal Alchemist. It's just kind of like, even if you're not an anime fan, you probably know what Shizuka is. That being said, I would say Bondru is just objectively worse than him in What's Made in Abyss, and they're actually very similar too. So Bondru is basically Shizuka, but just worse in every regard, right? Like, I would say so. But anyway, anime of course have a bunch of evil fathers, right? And also some evil moms, like for example, Killa kills Ryuo and so on, right? But whatever, I digress. But yeah, her father, he's like the worst father of all time, man, in the anime. Like, seriously. I think the difference, though, of course, from him and like Bondru and Shu and so on, right, is that these guys are living in a magical world, right? They're living in this fantasy where you can transform into weapons and objects and shoot fireballs or whatever, or they're living in some weird, whatever Made in Abyss is supposed to be, hellish Australia or something. It's like some island out in the water somewhere, and then it's like whatever. Get my point. From a standpoint of anime or mangas or whatever, where it is a normal universe, where it is nomadic or whatever, right? Then this guy is probably serious number one. In this like real life kind of thing, right? But I think obviously he beats a lot of fictional guys as well. Because the real difference, right, that makes him less worse perhaps than like Bondru or whatever, is of course the lack of magic and so forth, right? But this guy is so terrible. But anyway, so I would say he's, like I said, he's easily number one worst dad in like non-medical animes, easily. Now, why is that? Well, several reasons why, right? So first of all, he clearly abandoned Shizuka before he never talked to her again or whatever, right? And it seems to be, the anime unfortunately doesn't really explain exactly happening, and that was like my one critique from an anime standpoint last week, was that, okay, I wish you actually fleshed out the father more a bit. I love that they made a lot of time loop, but I wish we had a little more on the actual, the sibling, is she gonna kill them? That I would love to have more of that storyline for maybe like 5 more minutes. But anyway, I digress. I just think that, so he probably abandoned her, so to speak, right, to the mom. Never talked to her mother again. He clearly didn't know about Shappi. To be fair to him, I suppose, that's the mother's fault, right? The mother obviously, I guess, put the dog down and then just never told her ex-husband, right? So to be fair, he didn't, I guess, know about Shappi, to be fair, right? But the problem, of course, is that when his daughter is suddenly at his door, I think he's just an insanely evil person, right? And I have to say, though, the more I think about it, and I do really like this anime, I do struggle a little bit with how just insanely evil these parents are, like him, right? Because the issue is, as I said last week, and I ranted for 10 minutes because I got angry, right? Is that if my daughter, she's 8 now, right? If she just appeared out of nowhere, right? And say I'm at the office where I work, right? And say my daughter's there, I'll be like, why aren't you at school for? Where's your mom? Is she dead? Like the immediate reaction would be like, oh my god, what happened? Did your mom die? Did your teacher die? like, you know, happened to your school class, right? You would immediately think that something insanely bad has happened, right? And in this case, I don't know exactly the distance between where he lives and where she lives, right? But it's like a day travel, right? So it's like the other side of the country. And it's like, what the hell are you doing here? So his actions are just so absurdly evil. Not only that he's like ignoring her, saying he doesn't even know her, but it doesn't even matter, right? It's just like, even if it's just a random kid, a random 9-year-old at your door, you're just like, what are you here for? Alone, you know what I mean? So, yeah. That's why he makes him so incredibly evil, because he's basically like throwing out this little girl, right? Regardless if it's his own daughter or not. Even if it wasn't his daughter, just like, you know, closing the door on this little girl is like insanely evil, right? So I keep saying he's number one most worst father in anime, like seriously. But I do think that actually he's like almost, it's cartoonishly evil though. So, like I said, I like the anime a lot, but I think that is. Yeah, I hope the manga does that better. So I want to read the manga, right? Because it does feel a little bit like, oh, but come on, you can't just like close the door on a little girl, right? Would they have done that for the neighbor's kid or something, right? Would they have done that for some random kid that no? Probably not, right? Like, it's super evil. And I guess from his standpoint, he did it, of course, to hide her from his, I guess, new wife, right? And order her siblings and so forth. So maybe he's more evil to Shizuka because it is his daughter, and he wants to hide that he has a daughter before his like a new family, right? And it was a neighbor's kid. He would have helped them. That, to some extent, I suppose in the anime's defense, that is realistic. I still think it's realistic, but I guess it's more likable or more, I don't know, like, you know, likely thing to happen that. Yes, he wouldn't abandon the neighbor's kid if they were in trouble, but helping the neighbor doesn't hurt his status, right, in his family. Helping his like abandoned daughter will, you know, probably make his new wife hate him or whatever, right, and figure out the truth about that. So, I guess in that sense or something, but it's just like, it's just so, yeah, I find it almost like absurdly evil, right? He has to probably imagine his daughter's dead now. Like, it's a little girl alone in Tokyo that he kicks out of the house, basically. He probably imagined she's getting AR'd or something, or getting killed, right? Like, how did he even get there? Yeah, so I don't know. I think it is really, really too extreme. And like I said last week, what I wish to have there is perhaps him calling his ex-wife, right? Saying that, my God, why is Shizuka there for? And then, yeah, honestly, I wish that meeting was a little more realistic. He maybe arguing with her, and then Shizuka starts maybe fighting with her siblings, and then he gets angry at her and she runs away or something. It could be something like that, right? Or he could have still lied about it, but, you know, called the cops or so. You feel that it lacked something there. I feel that they lacked something like, let's say he closed the door on her, and then he picks up the, you know, calls the cops and say, oh, it's this like little girl here, she's like lost or something, I don't know where her parents are, and he's like pretends to know her, like something like that at least, right? Like something, just doing something that it feels like reasonable to do, and then whatever, something else happens, right? But something like that, that's what I meant earlier, that I really wish that we had maybe like 4 or 5 more minutes on that storyline, either seeing her try to kill her siblings, that'd be interesting if he can do it, right? But also just generally, like, maybe having the father, okay, he hates her, abandons her, but he at least, like, calls, you know, the cops or something, saying that, oh, it's a little girl over there, I don't know how she got here, but yeah, she's in trouble, you should probably pick her up, you know, something, or calling her mom, at least something like that, right? Like, not just so, now it felt kind of strange that we never even saw how he thought about it afterwards at all, right? Something like that. So yeah, it was strange. Otherwise though, the Marina bit, I like that. Since now in the finals, right, we're gonna have the next person, so we're kind of doing a loop per person. But that was great. We saw like basically if she met Takopii instead first, right? And then we learn about her. Obviously her mom is crazy. Clearly her mom has injured her before, right, more than once. And she has that scar that we of course know about, and she cut that. She has like a PTSD when she sees a glass when her mom brings up the bottle, right? And her mother is clearly an alcoholic or something like that, so she probably has a lot of, you know, bottles that she can throw her daughter or whatever, right? So yeah, they kind of pans out. One thing he didn't explain though is that her mother is on some kind of medicine, I guess, and she was. I mean, it didn't end up with her killing her, right, in the end there, but for like part of the episode, she seemingly was better. She took food and so on. And then she was like, oh yeah, I feel good today. So she basically is presented as this mom that is like every second day she's hell on earth, and the next day she's somewhat normal. That's how she kind of played off as, right? Definitely unsure. Maybe the episode here will explain more about her mom, but again, that might also be a manga thing where they might flesh it out better, right? But it's a little bit like, I guess she has different issues like alcoholism, maybe drug, medicines, over medication perhaps. So it's a bunch of different things to do in there, right? But from a mental standpoint, what interesting from a behavior standpoint, when it comes to Marina then, and this is a very common issue in reality, is that because your mother, right, is nice to you sometimes, because the mom is somewhat a good mother to her daughter, right, like every Monday or something, that is very, very hard for a child to kind of detach themselves from the parent then. Because they're thinking in their brain, right, especially if they're younger, the younger you are, the more it is, right, that they would be like, well, my mom could be the perfect mom, you know, every day of the week. She could be Monday, happy mommy kind of thing, like every day. And whatever happens on Friday, she's super mean, but it could be like that. So it's something I am doing wrong, you know. So it's very easy for the kids then to blame themselves, right? They're gonna blame, oh well, my mom is actually the best mom, but it's my fault, right? It's also similar, of course, to kuze as well. Oh, but I failed this test, right? So the mom is angry, it's my fault, right? And of course, in Marina's case, she instead does the whole Shizuka's mom is a whore and that thing, right? So my mom actually would be the perfect mom as long as that other women wouldn't sleep with my dad, right? It's all her fault. And obviously dad isn't fault either. Oh, yeah, it's all about the whore, right? So she does that way, right? She kind of like is trying to rationalize her mother's behavior as, oh, I actually got the best mom, you know, but it's a more people's fault, right? It's a very, very common thing for children in that situation, and they tend then to defend the mother's right. So if you interview a kid that has like a physical abusive parent, especially if the mother, more so if the mother and the father, absolutely, the child will usually lie, basically, right? They will lie and be like, oh, my mom is a great mom. Yeah, she gets mad sometimes, but she's great overall. They have a hard time to be honest about that, right? Because they keep imagining, what if my mom was this perfect all the time, and that could be happening in theory. So they will usually kind of put that, the peak mom, right? Peak mom will be kind of what they will argue for, right? Even if, like, for example, you interrogate them as a police, psychology, right? Service trying to get them to like, oh, your mom is this thing, even if you know that they're lying to you with the truth, right? Telling them, no, but that's not true. I know your mom abandoned you last Wednesday. No, but mom is like probably coming back soon, right? So it's very, very hard. Of course, generally speaking, it's because children tend to, of course, it's a defense mechanism, right? Not admitting that. And another thing happened to Marina too. Is a very common thing with kids. Is they will put the other parent on a pedestal. Very, very common things. What I mean with that is that she's like, my dad, which is not at home as much, my father, that's not here, right? He's the perfect dad. That's a very, very common thing, right? So, for example, if your parent, like, moves to another country, and you live with your mom, and your dad lives in another country, now your mom is bad to you, whatever. It's very common then for children, very, very common, to imagining, well, if I used to live at my dad's place, perfect, you know, yeah, it's super common, right? And it's all my mom's fault or whatever, or vice versa, of course, is the reverse parent. It's a very, very common thing, right? I mean, I think even in, like, so to speak, normal, non-like violent, you know, non-abusive households, right? It's a very common thing, you know, that like mom does most of the heavy lifting at home with kids, right? And dad works or so on. And then the kids actually like the father more because he's fun parent, he's fun dad, you know. But dad comes home, it's his fun and games, he'll be playing stuff. She does the cooking, cleaning, so he does all the fun stuff, right? It's very, very common. He gets all like, oh, he's way less there. He gets more liked. It's very, very common in that sense, right? But yeah, with Marina's case, She does that, which is very, very clear. Right? She's like, oh no, my dad is perfect. It's my mom that's the bad parent and all this stuff, right? So, super common. And of course, Shizuka, same thing with her, right? Same thing with her, obviously. Yeah, her dad moved away, and she blames her mom then, of course. Her mom is terrible, my dad is perfect. And that's also, going back to what I said earlier, why her father is so evil, right? Because when she finally gets her father, when she finally meets him, she's like, oh, he was nothing like my dream, right? Her imagination. she put him on a pedestal. That's also why it's actually even more mean than, because of course she has, you know, her fantasy, he's like the perfect person, right? So that makes it even worse. And again, that's something he should know, right? You know, an adult person should have like a basic understanding of a kid's like desire, you know, to meet the parents or whatever. Yeah, it's so silly. So he's just so insanely evil, right? But yeah, both Shizuka and Marina have that thing where they kind of idolize their father, right? The parent they meet less though. Absolutely. But anyway, let's get into the episode. Here we go immediately, a person fighting, right? It's before he left them then. No, Choppy! Oh my god, okay, Choppy's, yeah, he's a little cute little doggy there. Oh, she's wishing for Takopi? Well, yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, of course. Yeah, it's not said immediately. But sorry, one thing I forgot to mention, of course, in my reflection over last week, do it here again then, is just how I liked how Takopi in his like Star World, right? His mom is like, why is he mean to me for? Yeah, that's an interesting point, right? His mom, because he's like octopi mommy goddess, they have no concept of violence, right? These aliens there. She's just like, what? He's talking so mean. Yeah, like, he slapped me? What was that? I think that was like, but this anime has this like weird comedy, because that just made me laugh, yeah. His mom is like, what was that? Is that a punch? Yeah, what's happening? So he's trying to explain to him this third reality. He's like, I don't know this stuff. It's like, what? I need to talk to her with you. Oh, he's like, she likes you though. Oh, good strategy. He's like, my mom. The whole time traveling aspect is confusing though, to be honest here. I feel a little bit confused now. This seems to be after his brother, of course. It's like, I'm your brother, which I think is by far the best in the anime. Amazing scene. But now then Takopi has time traveled like back. Like, when does this take place? It is before she goes to Tokyo and meets her father or something. Yeah, I have to say I am a little bit like perplexed by how this time traveling works, and it shouldn't be maybe the biggest concern here, because I'm a behavior scientist, but it feels like no, like as an anime reviewer, I'm just like, huh. So this time he time travels to North. It seems like every time he time travels, it's a different day he appears back on. Does he control that, or is it completely random? It seems, I don't know. Happy time traveling. It's but I'm guessing then this is the point just after his brother has, you know, helped him, right? And he's gonna move away or something. His mom closed her clinic, right? So I guess that's what this is. He's like, yeah, she's also sociopath. Wait, this is a Chappie that doesn't. No, he kinda mixture his memories. Yeah, now it's like it's her fault, so he seems to be confusing his own memories. Yeah, it's also bad. He seems to be confusing his own triumphant memories here. Oh, he's like, people can be both, yeah. He's gonna have to explain, he's like, you stupid octopus, yeah. You stupid alien. You're really stupid. But he has like he just had like a huge development here. Yeah. Yes, you gotta say thank you. Wait, the camera's back? But it's not blood. I guess he fixed. It's not blood anymore. Did he like clean it up? Maybe it's blood. Cleaned up. Maybe you can time travel again now with the camera. I mean, you know, like the shorter time traveling. So it doesn't look blood anymore, right? Maybe he cleaned up something. Oh no, Junya not in college now. His brother is like. I don't know why that would stop him from college though. Yeah, but he's probably overestimating the issues for his brother. Here we go, rewind time, yeah, rewind time. Yeah, can we rewind and say Marina? Oh, tell me my brother likes. There we go, yeah, tell me my brother's badass! Tell me Junya the best! Okay, cute, good, he's like, tell me that my bro is the best, yeah. Okay, that was good. That was good. Okay, so you know how much that was great. I mean, I keep saying, right, Junya's the best character, so I really enjoyed that. But now it feels like he's gonna time travel again, right? Yeah, he was just like, if you time travel again, tell me this thing. So it feels like he's gonna do another time traveling. But overall, I like this scene here. I mean, we see how this character, he has really had a lot of like character development, right? In a few episodes. So that's great. His brother going to college though seems to be, again, he's a kid, so probably, like I said, overestimating issues brother, right? Sure, his brother might have some, things mom is stressed out or whatever, right? But you can always study harder or study next year, right? That being said, context here. In Japan, right, it is very, very hard to get into the good universities. Very, very hard. And a lot of people will do that if they fail, right, the exams, they do it next year, right? It's a very classic thing in Japan. So obviously you watch Love Hina, you learn about this. But yeah, it's a very todai and so on. It's a very common thing. So that's kind of how I guess he's thinking. That his brother now might fail the entrance exam. And there is a thing, I have to say, it's very different in Japan, right? Because where I'm from, you have those as well, actually. I actually got into my university by the exams, because that's the best course. But you also have the normal grading, right? So if you fail, let's say, for 1 week or 1 month or whatever, because of family issues, you still have your whole 3-4 years or whatever, right? Those grades are what actually looking at if you get in or not. But in Japan, it actually is kind of those 3 years or whatever, it might not matter. It's only during the exam week, so to speak, that matters. That actually can, depending on where you want to go and so on, right? So yeah, it is a little strange in Japan. It's very, very hardcore. You have to really do well on these university exams, right? So where I'm from, actually it's 2 different pools. So you have your grades, right, for the years, but then you also have basically kind of similar exam system, and you can apply with either. So I had really good score, and of course on my SAT kind of similar thing, right? So I maxed that stuff, right? Then I applied with that instead, not my grades. Just to keep it time travel again here then. And also, okay, wait, time just passes or something? Wait, what? This alien is goddamn stupid, man. What's happening now? Yeah, now it's both they're dead or something? What? Kidnapping case? Oh no, it's his... this is when she kills her siblings! Oh no! Because anime is so brutal. Takopii stands there in this time loop. This is the version then when he brings her to her father and she get abandoned. And obviously time passes here, and then it's she killed her siblings, right? Shizuka, yeah, these 2 girls missing says... I thought they meant first... No, it clearly, yeah, it means her siblings, right? So it's she's been out there, this little sociopath girl has been murdering her poor sisters. My god, that anime is so brutal. Takopii just waited for a year there. He's waited for or something like that, right? And then she finally returns after I guess killing her siblings. Yeah, but when she traveled there by foot to Tokyo. This is sociopath serial killer Shizuka now. She probably kill him again. Yeah, she probably kill him again, right? Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, she says Chappie might still be alive. Oh yes, they might eat Chappie. That is so brutal. She's gonna kill the people at the end of the 2 now, because they might have eaten her dog. Yeah, we have to look at her stomach. Oh yeah, see, I told you guys, she's gonna kill him again, right? Serial killer Shizuka. She's I have to look at everyone's stomachs. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna kill you again, stupid alien. You already died once for me of my power. Exactly. Kill them all. Kill them all. Man, this is brutal. And he's gonna time travel again now when he dies. But Jesus Christ, that anime is so brutal. She killed her siblings then, right? She has turned into the sociopathic serial killer. She completely gone insane. And she's still going on the whole, yes, I have to kill the people working at the animal shelter or the veterinarian or something, because they might have in their stomachs. It seems to be... Shouldn't she understand that the stomach still used to have... I don't know. I have to say, if it's a little bit... She's almost having a complete mental breakdown, but it's a little bit if it didn't work on them, would she kill her mom next then? That's what I'm actually a little bit... I actually would prefer if she now returned and said, I'm just gonna kill my mom, right? I think I would prefer that from my actual behavior standpoint, because the thing is that she probably should have realized, even in her insanity, she should have realized that, okay, my dog is dead, right? And I guess she's coping and oh, I don't want to admit that the chap is dead. But I think that it would be more reasonable if this actually happens. And I've seen, of course, cases like this, right? I mean, they're very rare, but there are a few of them. And I think that you actually probably would have her realize dog is dead, right, after she kills her siblings, and then she will probably rather go on a revenge spree, right, kill her father, kill her mom, right? So I think that definitely, in my opinion, be a much more realistic take on this thing. Actually, is that after she killed her siblings, she probably would try to kill her dad and maybe like his new wife and so on, and then of course returning home and then trying to also kill her mom, right? And then eventually, obviously, Marina and so forth as well, right? I think like a murder revenge spree thing would be much more realistic than her like, oh yeah, I have to also kill the veterinarian because they might have eaten my dog. Yeah, it seems like far too detached from reality. So it's a little bit strange. Because, and this is something I think people don't really understand, right, honestly, is that just because you have a mental breakdown, or some kind of, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will lose all reasoning. So some people absolutely, but I think it's like, no. In most cases, they still have like their own, like they have their intelligence left, right? To some extent, right? You might have some like episode and you go crazy or sort of thing, but you don't lose like your basic, so to speak, intelligence or reasoning level, right? So basically, every case that I can think of in my head right now with a similar like real life situation, right? The child in this case will basically always try to kill their parents, right? Yeah, because they want revenge on their bad parents, right? Obviously, her mom is terrible, and her father, obviously, the yeah. So I think that feels a lot more realistic. She would be like, okay, after kill Takopii again, she would go kill her mom or something. So is this realistic though, from a general standpoint? Like, can a kid do the thing? And I would say yes, like ignoring the whole like mental state, right? I'm talking physically here now. There are some cases that. The one that comes to mind for me is Maribel, the probably most famous example of this thing, and she was like a 10-year-old that killed, small young boys. Then, right? Like I think her first victim was like 3 or 4, something like that, right? But she had tried to choke another kid earlier. But anyway, I digress. My point is that, unfortunately, right, if you ignore the mental state, it is not that hard, right, for a 10-year-old to actually, like, get like a 3-year-old or 4 or something. So Shizuka would kill her like youngest sibling from a physical standpoint, the power or whatever. It's pretty easy, and not just from an actual like physical requirement. But the thing is that kids at that time, right? They're very young children. They are obviously easy trick, right? They're gullible. You keep telling children like stranger danger and so forth, right? But the thing is that, in history, like for example, look up the Maribel case, is that it's very easy, right, unfortunately, for obviously other kids, if they actually want to kill a kid, to do it, right? Because we keep telling children to, stranger danger and be afraid of that weird man with this vest, this is kind of the image, right, that we tell our children. Be afraid of that person, right? So if another kid comes up to them, right? Even if the kid is slightly older, but it still is like, like a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old, whatever, yeah. It's like slightly bigger kids. Like, oh, I have this thing over here, yeah. That is unfortunately, as you can expect, right, not that easy for the kid to be afraid of, yeah. So, there is a lot of cases of this. I mean, a lot as in like, very few in total, but I mean, compared to other crime, but like, there's still a few hundred cases of this, like, where it's pretty easy then for like a very young serial killer to kill smaller kids because they can easily trick them, right? If anything, it's almost easier for them than for an adult, right? Because they can charm and trick these other kids so much easier, so much easier. But usually then, they actually kind of similar to Maribel, maybe it inspired her. Because I mind for her mom was a prostitute and so on. Maybe that's why this comes to my mind here, because her mom hated her daughter. She was neglecting her. She was like doing guys in front of her basically, whatever, right? But yeah, and it is some claim she sold her daughter to, I suppose. So something like that. So I guess she was probably a worse mother actually than Shizuka has here, because I think she also like rented out her daughter to men and so on when her daughter was a kid. So yeah, very, very terrible case, very famous case. But it's like, it actually is very similar because her daughter then would go crazy and started killing like young kids and so forth, right? So yeah, read up on that case if you're Maribel case, if you want to see I guess like a similar person to Shizuka. That's the first it comes to my mind at least. But like I said, I think it's probably is the most famous like young girl, 9-10-year-old girl serial killer. She killed more than one. Yeah, she killed more than one person. And also in her case, what was strange too was that it probably was a classic like attention seeking, right? So she killed this one kid, and then she went back to the grave or something, and like defiled the grave too, like half a year later. So she kind of wanted to be, she wanted them to know she did it, right? And she also ruined, there was another girl with her, and she also ruined like some preschool, or was it a school or something? I said it's a couple of my head there, but she also like broke into like a school and like destroyed the school building and like wrote, like the kids, the dead kids she killed, wrote that name on the wall or stuff like that. Yeah, so she was crazy, right? But in that case, it is obviously like, attention seeking to the max, right? I mean, way worse than what kids do it. And in her, what started with her then, of course, is her mom, right? Her mom neglected her mom abused her, so on, right? And she wanted to have any kind of, attention from any other person, right, basically, right? So to speak, right? So I think that might be an inspiration for this show. But let's keep going. See, here we go. Yeah, she's gone completely crazy and will just kill Takopi again, right? Then he will, Takopii! Yeah, we back again to Takopi murder. Takopii. Jesus Christ, man, this episode is like Takopi is gonna kill again. He's like P. Oh my god, what a scene, man. This scene, it was brutal. But she's killed her siblings now too. She's completely lost. But here's a time travel. She's completely like beyond saving. There's no way this poor kid can be saved now, man. It's not like he can fix it in this situation. Yeah, all of it. Oh, this scene is brutal, man. This scene is brutal. She's screaming at him, she's crying. She's going like mentally insane, killing her own siblings. Trying to kill her mom probably after this something. Yeah, Takopii is a moron, so he... Yeah, F you! Like, oh god! Like, F you stupid alien! It's your fault for understanding me! It's a happy handshake! I kind of hate Takopii though in a way, yeah. He's just like, I'm sorry, I'm stupid! Yeah, he's completely moronic all the time. Yeah, he doesn't understand all. Poor Takopi is not crying now. He doesn't listen, actually, that's a good point. He doesn't actually listen to words, right? He doesn't actually listen to what they're saying, no. He's like the... Yeah, oh, this is terrible, man. Jesus Christ, they're both crying. And... Yeah, she's like, yeah, shut up! She probably end up killing him anyway. But yeah, my dad will never return. Did he kill her daughter? Maybe, perhaps, as well. But she just probably means he won't take her back. Yeah, her mom definitely doesn't love her. Poor girl. Yeah, Shoppy is probably also dead now, so... Exactly, it's too late for everything. Time travel, Takopi. Stop being an idiot. Time travel. Oh my god. This anime is so brutal. Yeah, okay. That's a good ending, though. I guess to her terrible path here. But, yeah, this is one of the worst, most tragic animes of all time, guys. God, it's a tearjerker to the extreme. It's a tearjerker to the extreme, man. The worst anime life ever. It's a heavy anime. It's a heavy anime. What can you want to say? It's a very, very heavy anime. Yeah. She, this is the kind of moment, right? When she's a character has she has kind of stopped, in lack of better terms, she has stopped coping, right? She's kind of accepted it, all like, denial. She stopped being in denial. This is a kind of moment where she is like, no, my father hates me. He never liked me. My dog is dead, right? Yeah, this is the moment where she kind of has realized that, like I said earlier in the video, right? She puts her father on this pedestal. He abandoned her, but she thinks that it's all mom's fault, right? And as soon as I meet my dad, he's gonna be the best father ever, and he's actually much better than mom. Right? Again, a very common mechanism. Children uses right, coping mechanism. She's in denial that her dad is a terrible father, right? That she meets him and she, is hit by the truth, right? That she goes like mentally insane. But even during her mental insanity, she still probably somehow is a little bit like still in denial, right? That maybe I can save Shoppy by killing my siblings. You know what I mean? It's like it's insane, of course, but it's still in denial as well, right? Like she can somehow fix Shoppy up, right? And maybe get her dad if she kills her siblings. I think we have to also argue that she also probably kills her siblings, thinking that if I kill them, right, then my father have to love me, right? Because that is only me left, and then I'm his only daughter, right, and so forth, right? So she's still in like denial stage there, she's like murdering them and so on, right? But now this has gone, I guess, a few months now, given the time loop thing there, given the snow there, and so on. So I guess now she's kind of like, okay, this is the moment here when she meets Takopii again, and she finally realized that no, actually, my father hates me anyway, my mom hates me, my dog is dead, right? So she's kind of like having to go through all those emotions, right? Definitely. But it is obviously to the extreme that she will first have to kill her siblings to realize that. So, I don't know if I wanted to see her to talk to her parents again something after this. I don't know. All that being said, though, I think this is a very sad scene, but I think still though, from like how to say it, our rational brain, right? You might have heard about thinking fast and slow, like Donna Kenda, so you have thinking one, thinking two in your brain, right? So you have like this different kind of like, some things you think the lizard brain versus like your rational brain kind of thing. I think this kind of scene here is a little bit, from an anime standpoint, it's a little bit weird, right? Because like my lizard brain is like, oh god, this poor girl, right? But my rational brain, my other brain half, is like, well, actually, they probably not time travel, right? It's a little bit like that, yeah. It's a very sad scene, but I have to say, for my half my brain is like, well, this is actually a nothing burger, right? Because obviously he's got time travel, right? Yeah, he has to save these people's life, right? So you keep thinking like, it's a time traveling happening soon, right? And on the same time, I'm like, oh, it's super sad. So it's a little bit weird like that, and I always feel this thing with animes. Now this is my anime reviewer now, not to do with science, but I always feel when it comes to anime, right? When a lot of character dies, you know what I mean? This is also not true for other shows, right? But with animes, when a lot of character dies, it tends to be like no one dies, because it's like, well, I can't just have the storyline killing off all the characters. This is a short anime. It's the final episode, so maybe it does end with everyone dying. But to me, it sort of feels like Takopii is like, okay, I have to time travel now, and I have to save her siblings, the sisters, and I have to save Shoppy, and I have to do these things. It feels like with so many, the death toll keeps going. Marina, of course, this time loop as well, right? And so forth, right? So it probably be like the last 10 minutes now will probably be like a time loop thing, another version of it. And obviously, as we already know, right, the path to save Shizuka is saving Shoppy. Yeah, that's already his attempt earlier, right? He has to save Shoppy, of course, and if Shoppy doesn't bite Marina, then he won't be put down, and if Shoppy doesn't die, then she won't go to her dad, and she won't kill her siblings. So you have to stop Shoppy from dying, right? And of course, in the original timeline, Shoppy died, and then she, of course, unlived herself. Yeah, so as long as he saves Shoppy, it's always about Shoppy, man. Best dog ever. Yeah, let's keep going. I'm playing sad music. Okay. I haven't said that. Where's my time traveling? Yeah. Goddamn, Takopi, do something proper for once. Okay, I just go walk here and cry all the time. Okay, now she's being cried. Wait, where are you walking then? They're just walking forever? I don't know, this is super sad, man. They played this song, but I don't want to copyright, so I'm gonna play the music here. Sad to pay. It's just her like walking, crying through like Japan or something. What? I guess. Did they leave their hometown now? I think so. I think she's like another city now or something. Yeah, they did the bread or something. My god, this is terrible! What is this anime? Yeah, her hair is longer. It's like the girl is walking a pan by herself or something. He's crying. It's like weeks of crying. He's walking through the whole country. Crying. My god, this anime is so brutal. It's like the darkest anime of all time, man. You're cutting her hair. What? They've been working for like months now? They're just walking through the whole country and just like crying. What the F? But I guess he's gonna find the time. Okay, they went to the ocean, I guess, because they couldn't walk any further. She got to do the errand thing. Yeah, she eventually reached the end of Japan, right? Okay, so they walked the whole Japan now. Now it's like, I can't walk anymore. Okay. That's it. It's a hell of a tearjerker. What was that scene? What was that scene? She's like... Wait, they're back suddenly? Okay, so they walked back for like months or something? What? Jesus Christ, use your stupid she's still crying! Use the effing camera! Stupid alien! Use the camera! Use the camera, goddammit! It works finally again. Okay, everything. Maybe it's Marina too now. Okay, he can go to the clock, my mom's clock too. Okay, happy powers. So she's gonna ruin the time traveling. Okay. Yeah, what's up? Oh my god, the strategy. Oh, she's a poor girl. Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry, I'm saving Shoppy this time. I'm the dumbest alien ever, but this time I'm saving Shoppy. Jesus Christ. This poor girl, man, this keeps going. This is like torture, this anime! No, it is this torture. It's just the main character crying for 10 minutes. This anime, man, it is the poor girl is crying. Jesus Christ. Oh, this anime! Okay, so this back. This is probably the last time loop then, right? This is before Shoppy dies, probably? Wait. Well, maybe, yeah, but it has to be before she meets him. To all of you. It has to be before she meets him, right? And now he's gonna try to fix her life. Maybe in secret then. Maybe he's gonna... Yeah, maybe he won't show him. Shoppy's alive! Shoppy! Yeah, so he's gonna be some kind of guardian angel, right? He's gonna be like, I'm fixing stuff in you in the background. What's he doing? He's running around like a little home gnome, you know. Yeah, he's gonna be a little guardian here. Oh god, back with Marina's me and so on. Yeah, Marina and yes, there she is. Evil Marina. Yeah. This girl is Marina. She loves her guys to stupid again. They're besties. Stop it, Takopii. Deep down, she's really now. He's like, no, Takopii, no. He's gonna be nice. He's gonna mime. Yeah, she got some kind of mind time loop warping here. Yeah, it's gonna save his brother, I guess, also by doing that. Surely, right? Yes, I talked to my brother. He's terrible at video games. It's bad. Yeah, Sugoi! His mom is rich, he's a doctor, right? He's like, will he help Shizuka? Still likes her? Was gonna invite her to play video games, maybe? Maybe they could have like a normal friendship where he's like, you wanna play some PS4 at my house or something? No. No, they're not gonna have that. You're always alone, and you should remain alone. Okay, here we go. How's gonna... Is he gonna make them besties now? He's gonna make them besties, right? It's gonna be like, I got a solution! Okay, this is much more sad now. Yeah, it's much more sad this time now. No, Marina is more sadder now. Oh, you're gonna see Takopii. Yeah, Marina is much more sadder in this timeline. It's like Takopii is affecting her. And she's more like, yeah, and Takopii is there, of course. And he's gonna somehow affect her to be nicer to her. But she's like screaming about her own issues now, so she's much more nicer in this time loop, right? They're gonna end up as besties, come on. Because she's also like micro-trolling, but Takopii's like micro-trolling them. Takopii's like, whoa! Yeah, Takopii is like mind or anything. There was something there about. They're both being controlled by this alien. She has the same drawing at home. Yeah, but I like to draw this thing. For some reason, it's like follows me around, and it talks to you when you sleep. It's like yeah, and it's so stupid. Yeah, it's so stupid. This is stupid alien. It will save you. It's the worst. They're becoming friends in their hatred for Takopii. Oh my god. They both hate him so much. Now they're gonna best this because they both hate Takopii. They're just so gross. You're gross too, Marina. I love it. They hate the stupid aliens so much. They're both gonna cry so much now. Yeah. That's how he unites them by annoying them so much. Yes. They keep remembering this alien. They keep talking to them. Yeah, your Papa's top. They didn't solve much at all. He only made them friends and kind of made him his brother better friends or something. The stupid alien, man. Takopii. Yeah, you're not alone anymore. You couldn't be alone together. It could be season 2, man. It's them being besties. Go to college together. Here we go. Takopii. Just bye-bye. But she can see it too, come on. They both see it. They're both like mentally insane seeing this Takopii. Yeah, they're both like, yeah, I'm also hearing this annoying alien in my brain. Yeah, he won't leave me alone. And now they're walking together here, so they're besties now then. Best friend for life, girl. I feel it didn't solve almost anything, honestly. Except just them being friends now. To be honest, yeah. Okay, here we go. Epilogue. They are older. In college, maybe. Shoppy's still alive though, so that's good. Shoppy! He's old now though. Old Shoppy! Your mom sucks every day. Who saw that at your mom's Yeah, so they're awesome besties now, right? I like how they're both just like being mean. Your mom sucks. Your mom sucks more than my mom. It's like this weird coping of them both being like, yeah, I hate. Yeah, we both have terrible parents. Yes, no, they're awesome. How should I know? Yeah, I love it. They're like ultimate besties now. Because they both hate their parents. Awesome. And then they lived happily ever after. Yeah, they were roommates, guys. They end up with roommates. That's what I'm calling it. It's an interesting ending, honestly. A little bit disappointing. I'm going to say again. A little bit disappointing because I don't know. It doesn't feel like they're actually kind of happy, right? You know what I mean? No, it's kind of like, okay, they're both kind of friends with each other now. And that means that you're not bullying each other, right? But it's like a really dark ending still, though, because they're both just like, yeah, your mom is a whore. Your mom is a terrible parent. She beats you every day. Yeah, I know. Right? It's like a really weird feel to it. How they're both just talking here, right? And yeah, sure, they're like roommates now, whatever. But they're both just like, yeah, your parent sucks, but so does your parent. Yeah, like yeah, she beats me every day. Yeah, but mine beats you hard. Yeah, like they both, you know, they both have a lot of strong punches. Yeah, it's like, wow, it is the thing. So I have to say I find the ending bit kind of weird in that sense. It just kind of makes them both just like somehow have easier time living with the terrible, terrible parents. Takopi hasn't really solved the actual core issue, right? Which is the parents, of course. Sure. Now, again, obviously Shizuka isn't being bullied by Marina because they're like dating now or something. I don't know. But that's kind of how it feels. They're like little roommates, right? So I guess that immediately makes it better for her, right? At school or whatever. But she still lives with a mom that is some kind of like, you know, lady of the night, right? That just completely neglects her. They live in this filth, right? That's still happening, and obviously with Marina's mom, is she still beating her up, right? When she gets drunk, that's how it sounds. This is how it sounds that she's like, you know, kicking her ass or whatever, right? She was saying like, oh, mom is gonna have a bad day today, you know. This is my mom going raging at me. This feels like the most goddamn like, oh yes, I know my family is insanely terrible. So I'm just gonna like talk about it openly and still get no help. And it honestly feels. One thing I didn't like earlier in the anime was how everyone is just really terrible at helping Shizuka, right? She's getting no help from the teachers. She's getting no help from any adult. As I explained in the previous video, her behavior makes a lot of sense though, right? Because if you don't have any adult you can trust, that gives you, as I talked about earlier, then very, very low control over your gratification, right? Because you don't think that society is on your side. Right? I think the whole Shizuka turning into a serial killer, her like sociopathic tendencies makes perfect sense, right? Because, all the parents, all the adults, everyone involved in that sense are bad to her. So she has like no trust or foundation for society, right? So that makes like perfect sense. Don't get me wrong, I like that a lot. But I'm just saying here, in this situation now though, this just keeps going, right? Yeah. And if it's a little bit weird how it's like, aren't they old enough now to talk about it? Because what happens, right, realistically speaking, in this situation is that, yes, a 9-year-old, unfortunately, will not very often be able to talk to, a teacher, a counselor, a cop, whatever, right? But I don't know their age here, but I'm guessing the anime is going for them, they're like in senior high school, early college. I don't know exactly what they're supposed to be here, but this is like, 10 years later or something like that. Did it say that? I don't know. I don't think it said, but whatever, your point. This is like X number of years later, and they both seem to be at least, old enough to maybe go to a cop. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I feel, yeah. So I'm not a big fan of it, actually, from a just kind of realistic standpoint now, because, okay, it's not like a 9-year-old can do it, but what if Marina is like 19 now? She's like 18 now or something, right? Can't she go to a cop now? It's like, yeah, my mom beats me every day, right? Yeah, if it's that they're too old now to still be just like not being able to get help from the authorities. That's where I'm going with. And obviously, Takopii is super annoying in that sense, because he didn't really solve anything, right? He didn't solve the core issues, obviously the parents, and then whatever, all the side stuff. Yeah, he didn't solve anything. He didn't well, okay, sorry. He did save Shappi. I'm sorry, I take it back. No, Shappi's still alive. Shappi is like a really old dog now. Yeah, it's like Shappi is like, he's about to die soon, I guess, from old age, right? So he did save Shappi, and then afterwards Shizuka will go serial killer mode. No, I'm kidding, but sure, he did fix the actual core issue of the actual, event, right? That's very true, and this is a kind of typical time traveling storyline, right? He did save their lives by just fixing the actual it's like the shot in Sarajevo, right? The actual trigger, the trigger thing. By shooting this person, this war started. Yeah, he fixed that classic the trigger of the time events that then made Shizuka not kill everyone or kill or die yourself, whatever. Yeah, and so forth. He by removing that trigger point in history, they're all alive. So that is true. It's kind of like I said, a war started by that person died. Yeah. So by fixing that issue, okay, now everything is fine, so to speak. Right? But obviously, all the other core issues are still there, right? Both their moms are still terrible. One is neglecting her, blah blah, and it's out there doing guys. The other guys is beating, and so forth. We know that, right? Her father in Tokyo, I guess, still ignores her, and it's not like she actually knows the truth now, which might be better, I suppose. But still, I mean, it's not actually what I was talking about previously, right? The child will often then blah blah, the whole she will think her father is a good person, all stuff, right? That is still true here. Yeah, so I don't like the ending actually in that sense, because most of their mental issues will still be there. She's still gonna have terrible mom, and actually both of them have terrible mothers, and they both put their father on a pedestal. I keep saying it. That has not changed at all now. Right? They are friends now. They are roommates now, whatever. They are doing it now, yeah. But they're still gonna be hating their mothers, pretending their fathers are good people, right, and so forth. And then all the other stuff as well, right? So all the other yes, basically every issue these two girls have with their family and so forth is still there. Yeah, it's just they're bros together, right? They're let's just hunker down together and just hating everyone. So I don't know. Leave a comment below, guys. Did you actually like the ending? I still think it's a good anime, but I don't know. I guess I was hoping for a little more happier ending, maybe, where Takopii fixed something else, right? That being said, and some people are probably angry at me now. Oh, you say this is the best anime ever. That being said, from a realistic standpoint, and in that sense, the more to speak, scientific standpoint, right? In that standpoint, I do like it, though, honestly. So maybe I'm a little bit like, I'm not backpedaling what you said, but I think that from like an anime, like a storytelling standpoint, I don't know what to call it, but maybe from just like a, I don't know, but yeah, from that standpoint, no, I was hoping for a more, happier ending, right? But from a realistic standpoint then, from the actual, like, what it is, the storyline, it does make sense, though, that Takopii isn't able to actually fix most issues. He's just removing, like I said, a trigger point, and now it's kind of like, okay, yeah, that's kind of what I did. So, like, I guess these two are friends now, and everything else is still shit, but yeah, I did that. It's a little bit like that. So I keep saying, that's more realistic, I suppose, right? That he doesn't actually enable, he has have the options or whatever to fix the other parents, but it still feels like he's not even trying, right? Takopii is an idiot, as we know, of course. But it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? He's still kind of watching over them, I guess, with his powers, right? And he's trying to help them and so on. Couldn't he do the same thing for their parents? Couldn't we see him? It bugs. Damn it! Now everything bugs me. Like, okay, fine. It's like realistic that he can't fix everything, but I would like to see him also talking to her mom or something, right? I would love to see him like trying to persuade her father to call his daughter, or maybe visit his daughter with her siblings or something. Or it would be nice seeing Takopii trying to affect the parents, right? I have to say, I felt it last episode too, right? Like the anime is a good anime, but I always feel like it's a little bit like, and I would say I don't think it's a perfect anime because I always feel it's a little bit lacking in those kind of things. It almost feels like every time I want to have, 1 or 2 more minutes, a little more time on certain different points, right? Like we're seeing Takopii again. He's manipulating them, right, to become friends or whatever. He's helping Kuze to have a PlayStation and his brother, right? So he's like manipulating and trying to, assist them in their life, right? Couldn't we just have a scene, of course, like I said, right, with her dad, her dad in Tokyo being afflicted by Takopii. Oh, maybe it would be nice to call your daughter, like nudging him a little bit. So it feels like that scene again could have been like 2 minutes longer of seeing him affecting the parents, and then him being like frustrated that, oh damn it, I'm trying to make her mom nicer, but it's just really hard. Parents are sure stupid, or something like that, right? And then of course it doesn't really work. Then we have this like 10-year time skip, and now they are almost, in college or whatever. And now her father maybe meets him, and Takopi's like, yes, I did it. I've been trying to get her father to, talk to her for like 10 years now. I finally did it. Something like that. I think that would be the ending that I wanted, right? But if he's more realistic, if he can't just fix all these insane people immediately, Takopi can't just heal them all in 1 minute, right? But he can like slowly try to make everyone better, the parents better, them fighting, moving there and so on. So something like that. It just feels kind of a little bit lackluster now. He kind of like, he saved Shopee and made them friends. That's it. Yeah. And then you still have their terrible parents that beat her up and so on. Yeah, they're still there. Like, he hasn't fixed the core issue, right? He hasn't fixed the core issue. It's a very bittersweet ending. Very bittersweet ending. Yeah, I really do wonder it's a popular ending, guys. Very bittersweet. But anyway, we can't just talk about the ending in this whole review part. The first bit, that was good. Shizuka, of course, killed her siblings then, or like she didn't show it, but she's all like, I had to look at their stomachs. So yeah, she killed her siblings, I guess. Then she walked back to Tokyo, from Tokyo, I mean, and then they walked to the ocean, right? And then walked back again. So this girl walks a lot, Jesus Christ, and so forth, right? Yeah, the whole scene with her crying and beat Takopii was great. I'm surprised she didn't kill him again, but of course it ended with him instead. Yeah, time traveling away from her, and that was sad and so on. So very emotional, very tear-jerky scene. But I think, like I said earlier, it did feel a little bit weaker because we all know her time travel. Yeah, we all know that. Yeah, it's sad now, her siblings are dead and so on. But like I predicted correctly, well, he's obviously gonna time travel. Like it's gonna happen at any moment. As soon as this scene finishes, it's gonna be a time travel. So, and this timeline won't ever happen again, right? Doesn't mean it's sad though. I mean, obviously one of my all-time favorite animes at Zero. It can still be really sad of what happens between the characters, even if a certain timeline isn't, so to speak, actual real. But that's probably where F-Zero, though, I think is better in this anime, which is a much longer storyline, so it's very different to compare them. But in Zero, it's like some characters do get killed, right? Some characters do get injured and so forth. And so in Zero, it's interesting because it's not like he actually always know, right? We as the viewer doesn't always know exactly where Subaru will like pause it, you know? That the next checkpoint might be there, over there. So it's not really clear. Like sometimes it actually is for real, right? Not anime, just well, summertime rendering, so a time traveling anime. And in that anime, spoilers now, but it's a very minor spoiler. It's basically that every time he time travels, he is slightly ahead in time. I really like the design. Yeah, that's really good. I think summertime rendering. That was a really good plot point. So basically, if the first time he dies, then spoiler, he dies, and he travels back like let's say 7 days, right? The next time he dies, he travels back 6 days and like 20 hours, right? Something like that. So he loses like 4 hours every time, and then of course because he has the memories, right, like F-Zero, but obviously then he gets closer and closer, right, to the failure when he cannot survive anymore. He knows that like at date January 10th that everyone will die of Sabbath, right? So he's like, oh, shit, how much time travel now, right? And it also kind of moves the checkpoint further as well and so on. But that was like a good plot point, how every time travel was kind of like made it worse, made the deadline harder, right? So so we know as a viewer that he needs to fix this X thing in like the one or next two loops, right? Or it is screwed. That is something that puts a lot of like pressure and emotions then on the characters. Feels more, like it actually still might be, this person might actually die. But maybe we can't revert this thing because then we are screwed, right? In the like limited time he jumps. This anime here instead, it's a little bit just like completely random how much Takopi can time travel. Yeah, it's like, oh, actually I can use this thing. Yeah, so, but I think it's fine though. I don't get me wrong. I don't think it's based Takopi bad. But I'm just saying that if you knew that he couldn't time travel anymore, then obviously her seeing crying, walking and crying would be sadder. But now it's like I'm sure he will time travel somehow. So yeah, like it just, from the most standpoint, I think it does decrease a little bit. If you didn't know that he could still time travel, because like I said, in this anime, it's like, the rules for time travel seems to be completely random. If he can do it or not, if you go to the clock or so on, that doesn't really matter. So I think it's fair to say. It's still a very emotional scene. Definitely teared up a bit. It was very, very tear-jerking for like 10 minutes there. It was very, very sad. But a little bit like, well, I know he will time travel soon, so it's a little bit like that. I'm a little bit surprised we didn't actually see. I think the first bit actually wasn't that necessary, to be honest. The first bit when he meets Kuze instead, and sure, he learns then from Kuze to like, sorry, it was important in the sense that he told him that, well, yeah, obviously some people are good and bad at the same time. It isn't just binary. It's like, oh, really? Yeah, okay. In that sense, it was important. But that any other character could have basically told him in another time loop. So it felt a little bit strange, that scene. I thought he was actually going to be with him a bit. And then he ended up, and it was after the Shizuka murdering the siblings things. It just felt like I felt honestly that was like a little weird, like his time jump, that he would jump back to after she already like killed her siblings, and Chappie's already dead. So I felt to me it was a little forced that he would like meet him in this like just after his brother saves him. But it's like, why did he jump there? Why would you time travel to that location in time? That's like the worst, time positioning. Right? Yeah, it didn't make any sense from any kind of structure. But of course, Takopii is a moron, so it's a little bit like that. You could say like, well, Takopii is like a complete insane idiot, so it's fine, I guess. But it's a little bit. I felt it would be better if he met Kuze at another time point, right? And then Kuze told him that, and then he goes and tries to save Shizuka, and then we have the same storyline. I probably would have a little preferred if he didn't like just jump at that location too, because it just didn't make any sense landing at that time spot. It was just like, this is the worst spot you can be at. But like I said, maybe you can excuse it by just Takopii being stupid and the clock thing or so. And then lastly, I wish we had a little bit of his mom or something, or the other aliens. It could be kind of cute seeing the other aliens on the other planet being like, yeah, I'm hopping here. It's like some lizards fighting. Come on, season 2 is like another, it's like Mars. It's like 2 lizards fighting on Mars. then we see Takopi's brother being like, "Oh, these two are so friendly. Yeah, they one killed that other one. That was super friendshipy." Like, it would be really cute. No, there's always a lot of things left in this anime to actually explain with the actual aliens. But yeah, it doesn't matter that much. He's just a super weird alien. And on that notion, I'm absolutely guessing that Takopii is gonna be in their head forever, right? He probably is immortal. Yeah, something like that. So that was cute though, when they were getting befriended each other. And she's like, "Yeah, it's this annoying thing in your head. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It talks to me when I wake up. Yeah, same for me. Oh, yeah, we're both possessed by the same alien. He won't leave us alone." Like, it's almost, it's like, he won't get out of my head. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, he clearly affected Marina to be more open with her own feelings. Like the beating in the first timeline wasn't like she was like saying, "Oh yeah, it's your fault that my mom beats me," basically. No, she was much more open now, and that's what happened in her life, right? The bully that's like, "I'm being bullied at home, it's your fault." Yeah, very, very different. Otherwise, what more happened in the episode? Well, I think they kind of covers it, right? I still think we didn't see much of what happened with Kuze, I guess. Yeah, okay, yeah. My last point to this was that, I mean, he liked her, right? But it seemed that they went... Yeah, I guess he's... in the last timeline now, he instead befriended the other people at school, right? With his game console, PlayStation 4, right? And he became like a cool guy at school instead. Like his brother was a popular guy, right? And obviously him and his brother has better... I mean, yeah, of course. Him and his brother has a better relationship, obviously, immediately. Which helps him with his mom, right? So that's good. But I guess the author was like, screw it. I'm just gonna have him get some other girlfriend. These two weirdos that can... Yeah, he's too pure for this. These two psychopaths. No, I want to get over this. Yeah, they are sociopathic. Yeah, that's how it felt, right? So I guess he's not friends with them anymore. No, it seems to be kind of showing that he's not hanging out with them. Just to note in this last scene, they're in a city, right? You know, they doesn't seem to be in the same city anymore. So his college, whatever, and what it probably is that they are probably at a school, right, that is not in their hometown, because they have to probably travel there, because they grew up in some tiny rural village, right? So they might not have like a high school or a college or whatever where they grew up, right? So they have to travel there, and then he's probably somewhere else, right? Yeah. So so they probably haven't seen him right for years, probably. Yeah, I'm guessing so. He probably went to some other city, right? To school. He's like the smartest kid, right? So he probably... Yeah, but that's what I mean. He probably is the smartest kid, right? So he probably went to some elite, school somewhere else in the country, right? That's definitely how it takes place. So yeah, I'm guessing that they have no relationship with him anymore. Not even as a friend in this timeline. We also saw his eye getting started up, right? People were talking to him about video games, so I guess that was... Yeah, and that's a good point, though. It was kind of sad for him, because he definitely fell in love with Shizuka in both timelines, right? But I guess the whole thing was that he used... Honestly, he's kind of a little weird in that sense, because it first felt like Shizuka, he loved her because she was the only one that liked him back, right? He was very needy. But then he gets Marina in the second timeline, so he has Marina, and then he dumps her for Shizuka, because sure, he feels sorry for her, but that also shows that he doesn't necessarily only care about being needed, so to speak, or him being needy. It's more about him being needed. But it ends with him basically not caring about Shizuka, because some other girl wants to play games with him. So yeah, I actually think it's kind of a little bit inconsistency perhaps there, then, because if he dumps Marina for Shizuka, why wouldn't he dump this gamer girl for Shizuka? Arguably, that's not on the first day though, but they're also a gamer girlfriend, so I mean maybe that's better. But I would have liked though if he had one scene with him, asking these to come over to play against him. Yeah, it would be nice, right? They could be friends. Then we could see another scene after they are friends. He could talk to them in school, be, "Hey, wanna play games at my house?" And they're like, "Okay, let's go," and that happens, and then we see them still have the same ending, him living somewhere else in Japan, whatever. But that could be a nice intermediate scene there of them hanging out at his place with his brother playing video games. So maybe that. But guys, what do you guys think? Hope you liked the video. So do subscribe, the like button, and have a great day.